What's up, everybody? Tomcat back here again. Good morning, good morning. I want to talk today about food storage. So many ways to do it wrong, not many ways to do it right. Let's get into this. So, space is a big concern. Not knowing how much you need to plan for, but not going crazy with it. That's very hard to do. Also, storing everything in different locations. You never know what's going to happen. You could have a house fire. You could have a flood, natural disaster. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket for sure, you know? So there's that problem. I would not recommend getting a storage unit for that. If you can rely on some friends to store some things for you, that's good, but can you trust them? See, there's a lot of ways things can go wrong. And this also pertains to water storage too, because water is the most important. We'll go 55-gallon drums for sure, as many as you can get. 2-liter bottles, always a good thing. Any kind of plastic containers, BPA free, whatever you can use. That's what we'll get into with water. Everybody knows water is the most important. Then the other problem is how much do you store? Of what varieties do you store? I say right now, this is my opinion, all the freeze-dried foods are way too expensive. They're the best bet. But you also got to remember that you need to store enough water for all dry goods and freeze-dried stuff. That makes it a little more tricky with a lot more room needed, a lot more money spent too. Appropriate conditions. That's a rough one. Because you want to store things, all your food, into some kind of containers where rodents and all kinds of other stuff couldn't get into it. And plastic containers and all, they're getting expensive as well. Buckets aren't cheap. I'm not a fan of the gamma lids at all, because it's too much money to me. And I have a lot of buckets, and I don't have issues. A lot of people say store dry goods into buckets. I use my buckets mainly for canned goods, because then I can just pick it up and carry, but they get very heavy, so there's another issue. Are you able to pick up a lot of heavy things? Also, if you have to bug out. Now here's another problem. This is what a lot of people don't talk about. If you got to bug out and you have a huge food storage, how are you going to get that into a vehicle, or if you have to leave on foot? What are you going to do with everything left over? You're going to burn it all down, destroy it, let someone take it? There's a lot of factors to food storage. That's a big topic. I'm not going to be able to get into everything in one video, but I was just thinking about food storage, because I'm going back up to get some more rice and beans and potatoes if they have any. Hence why I'm heading up to the store. I see that kitty again. So, there's so many factors. Temperature. Temperature's a big one. I think burying it in your yard or somewhere where you can get to it. Everybody says have caches. But, I mean, if you start digging caches at night, someone might call the cops on you, thinking you're trespassing if you're somewhere. Something could be built or paved over. You don't know. Someone might see you and get that cache before you. So there's a lot of things that can go wrong with food storage. My opinion, of course. Temperature is a problem sometimes. The price of electricity. Do you really want to keep your air on in the summer, just enough to optimize? Do you want to keep your heat up high in the winter? Now you have to determine, is the cost of electricity less than the cost of the food? and you have to go with which one costs, that you put the most money into. That's when you gotta save. It's a lot of variables. Do you use Mylar? Do you not use Mylar? Do you freeze your rice? Do you not? I don't freeze mine. I don't care. Like I said before. Maybe you do. Now you have to have it for like 2 weeks in your freezer. God knows how many bags holding up your freezer now. And then you have to let it sit on like a pan or something and let it dry out so it's not still wet and get moldy. That's another issue, is your time. Organization, one of the hardest things to do. Keeping a spreadsheet, writing it down on paper, keeping a mental note. We should be doing more than one thing. I have a spreadsheet and I have it written on paper. That's how I do it. We're not going to get into all the logistics in this one video. This is just a starter video. Just because I felt like talking about it this morning. Then you have to look at your canned goods. Make sure your dates are good. Best by dates, whatever, not expiration dates. Determine how much of things that you need. How heavy they're going to be. Where can you store them at? How are you going to store them uniformly? And like I said before, having more than one location. I wouldn't leave all my stuff in one spot. But we'll get back to the most important thing. If you had to bug out for a natural disaster or something like that, what are you going to do if you can't take all your food with you? You can't take all your water with you. Now all your time, all your money, all that hard work could go down the drain. Are you ready to deal with that? Because let's be honest, if you've got to leave, maybe you have a location or two with extra supplies. But I doubt in a hurry you're going to be able to get all your supplies if you have a big stockpile to where you got to get it to. So now you might be losing all your resources, or a lot of them. And if you're on foot, you can only take what you can carry. And if they're super heavy, buckets and all, you're going to have a hard time. All things to consider. There's many factors. I'm just scraping the surface here. Scraping the surface on my walk. But yeah, there are more things that can go wrong than can go right. We got to be prepared for that knowledge. We can say we can stack it to the rafters. What are you going to do if you can't take it all with you? What's the end game of that one? I'll let you be the judge of that one. I don't know what I'd do. I really don't. What, are you going to make a false wall or something and hide it? What if someone burns the house down or something happens? What if everything gets washed away? It ain't hidden no more, is it? These are all things you got to think about. I got to think about. Every decision that you make has to be time, cost, and emergency warranted. You got to have contingencies. All right, I love you guys. We're just scratching the bare surface because I want to talk about this morning while I'm going to get more supplies. So yeah, just a quick one. All right, I love you guys. Tom Cat out.